Before I start, I want you to do something. Think of one person you haven't spoken to in a long time. Don't pick the easiest person. Pick the one your stomach reacts to. Now imagine your phone rings tonight, and it's a number you don't recognize. And the first sentence you hear is, "Hi, I'm calling about them." That happened to me. And what I lost wasn't just a relationship. I lost 30 years of ordinary moments I thought I'd get back later. I'm 72 now, and I'm going to tell you exactly how two brothers who shared the same bedroom became strangers, and what the last message from my brother said. But I'm warning you, the last message is not what people think. It wasn't, "I forgive you." It wasn't, "I'm sorry." It was something that made me realize I'd been living my life like I had unlimited chances. And here's why you'll want to stay until the end. Near the end of this video, I'm going to give you 3 sentences you can copy and send today. 3 sentences that would have saved me decades. And I'm also going to tell you the one mistake people make when they finally reach out. The mistake that turns a second chance into a final goodbye. Most people think silence happens because of hate. Mine didn't. Mine happened because of something far more common. Pride dressed up as self-respect. Let me take you back to the day it started. Not the day we stopped talking. The day we stopped being brothers. When we were kids, my brother was the loud one, the risk taker. I was the careful one, the planner. He'd jump off the garage roof into a pile of leaves. I'd stand there doing the math, pretending I wasn't scared. We fought like brothers, sure, but it always ended the same way. One of us cracked a joke, and the war ended over a peanut butter sandwich. Then we got older, and the fight stopped being about toys and became about identity. Who's responsible? Who's right? Who's stronger? The day it broke open was after our father died. That kind of grief doesn't just make you sad, it makes you sharp. Everyone's nerves are exposed. Every sentence lands heavier than it should. There were decisions to make. Paperwork, money, the house, old belongings. And my brother said something that hit a bruise I didn't know I still had. He implied I was controlling, that I always had to manage everything. And I snapped, not loud, not dramatic, cold, precise. I said a sentence that felt powerful for about 3 seconds, and then it poisoned the next 30 years. I said, "Fine, do whatever you want. You always do." It doesn't sound like much, does it? But what I really meant was, "You're not worth my softness." He stared at me, and then he did something I didn't expect. He didn't yell, he didn't argue, he just went quiet, like a door closing slowly. He walked out, and I let him. I told myself, "Good, I'm done chasing." I called it dignity, but what I built that day wasn't dignity. It was a wall, and the worst part is, walls feel safe at first. The first week of silence felt temporary. I assumed he'd cool down. He assumed I would. Then a month passed, then a holiday, then another. And something happens after enough time goes by. Breaking the silence stops feeling like courage and starts feeling like embarrassment. You think, it's been too long now, so you wait longer. I used to hear updates through other people. Your brother moved. Your brother changed jobs. Your brother's kid is graduating. And every time I heard his name, I felt that tug in my chest, and I swallowed it like a pill. I became a professional at swallowing things. Swallowing guilt, swallowing memories, swallowing the urge to pick up the phone. I told myself the most dangerous sentence in the world. There's still time. Not today, not this week. After work calms down, after life gets easier, after he reaches out first. Here's the truth I didn't admit. I wasn't waiting for peace. I was waiting to win. Because if I reached out first, it would mean I was the one who needed him, and I couldn't stand that. So I kept living. And from the outside, my life looked normal: work, family, responsibilities. But there was always this quiet, empty chair inside me where my brother used to sit. And then one day, I noticed something terrifying. I didn't know his address anymore. I didn't know his voice anymore. I wasn't even sure I could recognize him in a crowd. That's what long silence does. It doesn't just create distance, it creates strangers. Then my phone vibrated on a Tuesday, and everything I postponed showed up at once. I almost didn't answer. It was an unfamiliar number. I was busy. I was tired. I had groceries on the counter and a schedule in my head. Then I answered, and a woman said my name like she'd rehearsed it. "Hi, are you Michael?" I said yes. She said, "I'm calling from the hospital. Your brother is here. He asked for you. If you want to come, it should be soon. I'm going to tell you something ugly." My first thought wasn't love. It wasn't fear. It was pride. A bitter little spark that said, after all this time, now? That's what pride does. It speaks first, even when time is running out. I grabbed my keys and realized how much I'd already lost. I didn't know which hospital. I didn't know his emergency contact. I didn't know who his doctor was. I didn't know anything because I had treated silence like a solution. On the drive there, I practiced sentences that felt too small. "I'm sorry. I should have called. I was wrong." Every sentence sounded like a cup of water in a burning house. When I got to the hospital, the nurse stopped me in the hallway and said, "He's very weak, but he's been asking for you." And then she said something that cracked me open. "He's been holding on." Holding on. For what? For me? For a conversation I refused to start for 30 years? She brought me a phone first, because he couldn't sit up. She held it near his mouth, and my brother whispered one sentence, just one, and it changed what I thought our fight was even about. He said, "Tell him." I got tired of being right. When I walked into his room, he looked smaller than I remembered. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just life shrinking a person the way it does near the end. I sat down. My throat tightened. All I could manage was his name, and for a second, just a second, he opened his eyes, and I saw my brother again, not an enemy, not a story, not a courtroom argument, just my brother. He didn't have strength for a long talk, so the conversation we waited 30 years to have came out in fragments, a few words, a few breaths, a squeeze of the hand. And here is the part I didn't expect. I thought I would feel relief, finally closing the chapter. What I felt was grief for everything ordinary we never got to be. Because the big tragedy isn't missing the dramatic moments. It's missing the small ones. The random Tuesday phone call, the stupid joke, the quick, "How are you?" the coffee together for no reason. I sat there and realized something that made me sick. We didn't lose 30 years because we hated each other. We lost 30 years because we were proud, and we were scared, and we didn't know how to walk back without feeling like we were losing. So if you're still listening, here's where I add value, real value, because a story without a tool is just sadness. I'm going to give you 6 lessons, but more importantly, I'm going to give you a practical way to reach out that doesn't explode the situation. Because most people reach out like they're throwing a rock through a window, then they're shocked the glass breaks. Let's do this the right way. Lesson 1. Time doesn't heal. Time hides. Time doesn't erase pain. It just buries it until a phone call digs it up. Lesson 2. pride feels like strength until it becomes loneliness. Pride doesn't protect you. It just delays being human. Now, here's the method I wish I had. Here's the method. It's simple, and it works because it lowers defense instead of triggering it. I call it the three-doorway approach. Doorway 1 is the message that proves you're safe, not right, not justified, safe. Copy this exactly if you need it. Hey, I've been thinking about you. I don't want to keep living like this. I'm not reaching out to argue. I just want to talk when you're ready. Notice what's not in there. No blame, no history lesson, no, you did this. Because the goal is not to win in message 1. The goal is to open a door. Doorway 2 is a short accountability line. One line, not a speech. Something like, I know I played a part in how we got here. That sentence is powerful because it doesn't beg and it doesn't attack. It disarms. Doorway 3 is a choice, not a demand. If you're open to it, I'd like to talk this week. If not, I understand. I just didn't want more time to pass. That last line matters. Because it shows urgency without pressure. Now listen carefully, because this is the mistake people make. They reach out, and then they immediately reopen the court case. They start listing exhibits. They start proving points, and the other person goes right back into defense mode. So here's lesson 3. You don't need perfect words. You need the first words, and then you need patience. Reconnection is not a single message. It's a process. Lesson 4. Apologies aren't humiliation. They're clarity. A real apology is specific. This is what I did. This is what it cost you. This is what I'll do differently. And if you can't apologize for the whole thing, apologize for one true piece. One true piece is enough to crack the wall. Now let's talk about what to do if they don't respond, because that's where people quit. If you reach out and they don't respond, don't turn silence into a story. Don't decide they hate you. Don't decide you were right all along. Don't use their silence as permission to retreat into pride again. Instead, wait a few days and send this. Just checking in. No pressure to respond. I only wanted you to know the door is open on my side. That sentence does two things. It respects boundaries, and it removes the power game. Lesson 5. Stop waiting for them to go first. Sometimes you're not waiting because you're busy. You're waiting because you want them to admit they were wrong. But at the end, the scoreboard doesn't matter. I have never met someone in their last days who said, I'm so glad I won that argument. And here's the hardest truth. Forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same thing. You can forgive someone and still need boundaries. But silence as punishment? Silence doesn't build boundaries. It builds graves while people are still breathing. Lesson 6. The 3-minute rule. If it takes 3 minutes to send a message, leave a voicemail, write an email, do it today. 3 minutes can change the rest of your life. Now, I promised you the last message, not the hospital sentence, the last message. After my brother died, the nurse handed me a small envelope. Inside was a folded piece of paper, 4 words written in shaky handwriting. I miss you. Come. That was it. No lecture, no argument, just the truth we both hid behind pride. So if someone came to mind while you watch this, don't let this be entertainment. Make it a turning point. Send one message today. Tell me in the comments who you need to reach out to. Just my brother, my mom, my friend. And if you want more stories like this, subscribe. You don't get unlimited chances with the people you love.